Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I thought I would show you how I created this look. It's just a really nice, quick and easy bronze summer look, just to give us that nice bit of warmth with a bold lip as well, just to add a little bit of colour. So if this is something you're interested in, please keep watching. So I'm going to start by just briefly talking you through what I've used on my skin. So something I always say is skincare is literally so important, because that is your canvas essentially that you're working on. If your canvas isn't to its best ability, say if you're doing a painting, then your painting's not going to look as good. And it's the same with makeup. If you really look after your skin and get your skin into a good skincare routine, it will make your makeup look so much better. And it honestly, it's just so worth doing. I am going to do a separate video on skincare, so I will talk about it in a bit more detail, but I will show you now what I have used just to prep my skin ready to give it a nice glow. So first I just applied a few drops of this. So this is the Dior Capture Total Glow Booster. This is a serum. Oh my god, it's insane. This, along with the Dior Cell Energy Serum, they're both my favourite serums, but this is amazing for like a really nice glow. So it's got Kakuda, I never know if I pronounced that right, Kakuda Plum in it. So basically what that does, it gives 100 times more concentrated vitamin C than an orange. So a lot of the time, I'm sure a lot of you have seen like a serum or another skincare product that contains orange vitamin C in it. This is 100 times more concentrated, which literally just blows my mind. I think that's amazing in itself. It's 80% natural ingredients as well, so it's got loads and loads of really nice natural ingredients. So I try and keep as much natural ingredients in my skincare routine as possible. So yeah, it's also got an exfoliating effect as well, so it just helps to buff away any dead skin cells and really helps to enhance that glow. So it gives a really beautiful dewy glow. So then I went in with a bit of face cream. This is my absolute favourite face cream that I've used. It's the Dior Capture Total Cell Energy. If you've seen my Dior haul in my previous video, I do speak a little bit about this product. I'll link it down below. This honestly has changed my skin completely. I just can't put into words how much I love it. So it's a firming and a wrinkle correcting cream, so it doesn't just help to reduce, it literally corrects it. So I know you might think I don't have any wrinkles just yet, I'm only 22, but I've started my anti-aging skincare routine now, because fix it before it's broken, if you know what I mean. So this honestly has changed my life. So it's got a biocellular technology, which is patented to Dior, so no one else has it, only Dior have this. But it's just amazing. It's 89% natural ingredients again, so loads and loads and loads of natural flowers and extracts that have been popped in. It's also got ceramides as well, which is amazing for your skin. So yeah, this just helps to give even more of a glow. But I've just applied a little bit of that all over, I pressed it in, and I've left it now for about 10-15 minutes just to soak in. I then just popped on a little bit of the Dior Lip Glow. It's basically just like a lip balm. It's got a little bit of a tint, so it just draws your natural pigment to the surface of your lips. I've just used one in this little palette here. This is just 001, so it's just their neutral shade. But you can see it's just given a tiny bit of pink shade, but it just helps to lock loads of moisture in, and then by the time we come to the lips at the end, it will have all absorbed and my lips will be nice and plump and hydrated. So I'm going to start with just going in with a little bit of the Dior Backstage Face and Body Foundation. I'm using shade 2WO, which is quite a nice warm olive shade, especially because I've been in the sun. I'm a little bit warmer than I normally would be. So just give it a good shake. And I'm just going to pop a little bit on the back of my hand. And I'm just going to start buffing this into the skin. So I prefer a buffing brush as opposed to like a flat foundation brush, just because I prefer a bit more of like a natural skin finish. I prefer to buff it into the skin. But if you're someone that likes a fuller coverage, then I'd recommend using a flat foundation brush, because you can layer it better. But this foundation is really nice and natural. It's been created to sort of mimic that skin finish, so it is made to look like skin. But it's good because it doesn't have any SPF in, which if you're going out, I always recommend wearing SPF. I'm not today, else I would have put it on underneath. But if you are doing makeup for like a shoot or a wedding or an event or anything like that, where you know you're going to be having photos taken, or if you're a makeup artist and you're doing event makeup for someone, then it's a really nice one to use because you're not going to get any flashback, which, I mean, I know a lot of products claim they don't get flashback, but there's so many products I've tried that claim they don't, and then I've ended up getting it, and it's very annoying. So if you don't have SPF in the product, like I say, I wouldn't recommend it for day to day if you're going outside, but for events and special occasions or photo shoots, then I would definitely recommend this. It's great, as it says, obviously face and body. You can use this on the body as well, so it's great if you've got any like redness or pigmentation or anything like that that you just want to smooth out. It's really good for that because it just looks really natural. So you can see I'm literally buffing it into the skin, so it doesn't create like a mask on the top of the skin. It literally just buffs it in. But this foundation is also lovely because it's sweat proof and water resistant as well. So you can see it just gives a really nice natural skin finish. It doesn't look like I've got loads of foundation on because I haven't. And obviously I blended it into the skin as well, which helps to enhance that natural look. I'm next going to go in with a little bit of corrector in my under eye area. This is optional, but I personally do this most days purely because I find it gives me a bit more of a brightening, awakening look. So I'm just going to be using the Dior Fix It colour in the orange shade. So it's shade 200, but there's only one orange shade, so you can't go too wrong. So it comes a little bit like a concealer stick, and I'm just going to apply a little bit under the eye. You don't want to apply too much because the more product you've got underneath, the more likely you are to crease. But if I've just literally put that little bit on there, and then I'm just going to go in with my finger rather than a brush just to pat it in, just because as well the oils in your fingertip will help to warm it and blend it into the skin again, so it's more natural. And if you compare the difference, can you see it's just neutralised the tones on this side? So you can see the tones on this side are more sort of bluey purple tones, or on this side it's just helped to balance it out that little bit. So when we go in with concealer on top, it's just going to help to prevent those tones from coming through. So I'm then going to go in with concealer. I'm just using the Dior Skin Forever Undercover Concealer, which looks like this. I'm not going to lie, I think this has discontinued. You might still be able to get it, but Dior have recently launched a new concealer, which personally I actually think is even nicer, but I've still got loads of this, so I want to use this up first. But the new one is the Dior Forever Skin Correct. So if you are interested, definitely look, because that is more of a creamy texture, so it's even creamier than this one. And I'm just going to go in with my wand and just do a couple of dots. And I'm just going to go in with a little fluffy brush and start blending. And then I'm literally just brushing the excess of the brush over the top part of the lid. There's practically nothing on this. It's just very, very slightly. So it just helps to neutralise the tones on the lid, but without overlaying the skin of product. You see how much brighter this eye looks than this one. So this is with nothing on, which, okay, it's not awful, but I always put a little bit of something on just to brighten, but this side just helps to brighten the whole face, not just the eye area. So I've just matched my under eyes up. As you can see, I've put a few more dots of concealer just where I want to even out the tone that little bit more. So this is quite a common area either side of the nose. I just had a little bit of redness on the nose as well. A couple of little blemishes up here. So I'm just going to go ahead and blend them out now. So I'm now just going to go and set that foundation and concealer. I am going to be very minimal with powder purely because we're going for obviously a bronze summer glow. We want it to be quite nice and glowy, dewy, so we don't want to over powder the skin. So I'm just going to go in with a little bit of this powder here. This is the Dior Nude Air, so it's a nice loose powder. I'm just going to go in with a small fluffy brush. This is actually a eye blending brush for like eyeshadows, but I prefer it just because you get a bit more control with it. So if you don't want to over powder the skin and you are going for sort of a more dewy look, this is a really nice sort of shape and size to go for. So I'm literally just going underneath the eye where we applied the concealer, just bringing it down to where I perhaps get a little bit more oily, sort of across the bridge of the nose. And I'm using shade 020, which obviously is a similar shade to the foundation that I used. The concealer I used, I forgot to mention, was shade 010, so it was a shade lighter. So I prefer to just go a little bit lighter with concealer because it will give a bit more of a brightening effect. And then again, the excess of the brush, just where we Applied the excess concealer just under the brow, and then a tiny bit just on the centre of the forehead, just because I do get a little bit more oily there throughout the day. So I'm next going to go in with my bronzer. I am going to be using a powdered bronze for this, but it's a mineral powder, so I find it just looks that little bit more natural. So it comes in a beautiful little pouch, my favourite packaging ever, and it's the Dior Skin Mineral Nude Bronze in shade 02. So it looks something like this. You'll have to excuse my camera quality. I've been having problems with my Mac, so I've been filming on my iPhone at the moment. I'm just going to start by adding a little bit of warmth on the cheekbones. So you can see already it's just starting to add a nice bit of warmth. I like this shade because it is really natural. It doesn't go orange, and it's a little bit more of a pink tone as opposed to like reddy orange tones. So it does look more natural. I'm just blending it down onto the neck, because especially this time of year we do tend to have a little bit more warmth on our chest area and our necks are a little bit paler, so this just helps to join up the face and the neck. Just going a little bit on the temples, and you want to mimic where the sun would hit you. So if you're thinking about if you're sitting out in the sun and it's glaring on your face and it's hitting all of those high points, that's where we want to be adding the bronze, because that's essentially what we're doing. We are mimicking where the sun would hit us. Again, just take it down to the side. I like to pop a little bit on the corner of the nose as well, just to add a little bit of nose contour. You see, it just gives nice definition and nice warmth, but it's not overdoing it. Just gonna go again on this side. I'm literally just using a angled face brush. Then just going in with the same bronze, I'm gonna go in with a little fluffy blending brush. This is just an old Morphe one, but it's just nice and fluffy, and I'm just gonna buff this on the socket of the eye. So because we are going for a more bold lip, we don't want to overdo the eyes, because that is when it's going to look a bit too dramatic. Just blending it through the socket just to really enhance and to add that warmth. And then you want to blend it out and up so that it all sort of merges into each other, so you're not left with any sort of harsh lines. And then I'm just going to do the same underneath the eye as well, just with a slightly more tapered brush. But if you look at that, obviously that is just the bronzer, but obviously this eye's got nothing on, but this eye just has like a nice warmth to it. And for me, even just adding that bronze on the eye makes such a difference. Like already that whole look looks more bronzy now. So next I'm going to go in with my absolute favourite liquid glow. It's the Dior Backstage Face and Body Glow. So again, it's same packaging as the foundation, but it's the glow version. So for me personally, I like to put a bit on the back of my hand to start with, and then use my finger just to dot where I want to blend it. And then I just go in with a little brush and start blending it. So you want to do it above as well as down here, just so it all blends really well and it just enhances that glow as much as possible. Can you see, like, if you compare it, I love this glow so much. I do often mix it into my foundation as well, which I will do in another video to show you all. I must admit, I do love sort of cream and liquid products, especially because I am very much a dew lover, so I love my sort of dewy makeup looks. You just have to be careful with powders that they don't sort of overtake the look, because they can if you're not careful, and that is when you are gonna come out with almost a bit more of a matte finish if you're not careful. Just do a little bit on the nose. Let's just do a little bit there as well. I don't do it all the way down the nose, but just those main points where again the sun and the light would hit. And then a little bit on the Cupid's bow. See how much that enhances though? It literally just makes everything look so much brighter and fuller. The great thing I love about this glow, you can literally just see it. It gives such a nice golden glow. It's not sparkly, so it doesn't look like, you know, you're not going to look like a glitter ball when it's on. It just gives a really nice sheen to the skin. And obviously in the name again, it's face and body. So often when I go out, I will often apply a little bit on my collarbones and my shoulders as well. And honestly, it makes such a difference to the overall look, especially if you're going out and you're wearing something like what I'm wearing, just like a strapless top or like a one shoulder or a little strapless dress or anything, it looks so pretty, really, really feminine as well. I'm going to move on to brows next. So I've got a fresh tint on my brows, so I don't need an awful lot doing to them. I'm actually just going to go in with a bit of soap. This is the Pears soap, which looks something like this. It's just a clear soap, but this is a really nice way of brushing the brows up. So it's a bit like a clear brow gel, but it's really, really inexpensive. I literally bought mine for like, I think £2 or £3 from Asda. And I'm just going to go in with a bit of facial spray. You can use either a setting spray or a different facial spray. I am going to be using the Mario Badescu facial spray, which has aloe, herbs and rose water in. So I am going to be using this at the end of my makeup as well, which I'll show you. But I'm just going to spray a little bit on the soap, and then I'm literally just going to use a spoolie and I'm going to start brushing up those brows. So if you are going to use a soap on your brows, make sure it is a clear one, because when I first experimented with soap on my brows, I used literally just a standard bar of Asda soap, and it was a white soap, and when it dried I had like all little white bits of soap in my brows. It just looked horrible, whereas at least because this is clear you won't get that. Then I'm just going to go in with my finger and just press the hairs down a bit, just to keep them in shape a bit better. And then in terms of spoolies, if you don't have one, you can literally just use an old mascara wand when you've run out of your mascara. Just obviously clean it so that any product's washed away, but then you can just use that instead. And then once you are happy with the shape and once you've pushed them down just to make sure that they are stuck in place well, I'm then going to go in with just a little bit of powder just to fill in my sparse gaps. So today I'm actually going to be using an eyeshadow, but it's quite a nice brown shade. It's quite cool, so it's not going to be too warm or orange. I'm just going to be using this shade here. This was a Christmas limited edition palette, which came in this packaging, but I have taken it out because I use it as a little purse, which is really, really cute. But yeah, so this is the darkest shade out of the palette. You can see you've got two of the shades, which I like to use for a lot of different looks. This is the lip balm that I used earlier, and then this is their famous 999 red lipstick. So I'm just going to go in with a really small angled brush now, and I'm just going to brush some little individual brush strokes through the brows. So I want to keep this quite light and natural, so I'm not going to be going too crazy, but this is just going to help to enhance the shape and to just give a little bit more structure. And powder's quite a nice way of doing it as well because it's soft. So if you do want to go for quite a nice like fluffy brow like I am, then it is nice because it's not going to be too harsh. And then I just go back over with the spoolie once more, mainly just at the centre of the brow, like at the front, and just very, very lightly comb just to make sure the product's all blended through. So brows are done. I'm now going to go in with the Backstage Liquid Glow, and I've just got a little bit on my finger, and I'm just going to apply this now sort of the inner part of the eye and blend it upwards. Again, it just gives us that nice bit of extra glow. I'm then going to apply just a small amount on the outer part of the brow bone. Again, because we are nice and glowy around this area, this just helps to tie in really nicely with that. And then lastly, just going in with the corner of my brush with it, just going right into the inner corner of the eye, just because you can already see it just really awakens the eye and really makes it pop. I've got a little bit left on my hand, so I will apply a bit on my collarbones for you to see. So I like to just dip my brush in. I don't like to use a brush too big because, especially for the collarbone area, you end up going too far and then losing that definition. But if you were going to do it on your shoulders, then I would recommend like a big powder brush or a big buffing brush. So I've just got a small amount, but you can already see from that, just gives a beautiful glow. If you were going out, like I say, with something where you are going to be exposed on this area, I would 100% wear and recommend it on your collarbones and your shoulders, because it will literally just give you bronze goddess vibes. So I'm now going to go in with mascara. I'm just using the Dior Show Iconic mascara, which is just a really nice natural mascara. I tend to use this one for most of my looks, especially because as well we are going in obviously with a bolder lip. I don't want to go too drastic on the lashes. If your lashes are quite straight, I would definitely recommend curling them first. My lashes are naturally quite curly, so I don't tend to bother for me personally. That mascara really just completes the look. I've only gone in with one layer. Obviously go in with a couple if you do want your lashes to look even fuller. And if you do get a little dot of mascara, like I've just got a little one here, the best way I find to get around it is to leave it to dry and then pick it off. So you can go in with the lashes if you want to. I'm personally not, because I prefer a bit more of like a natural bronzy look. But if you do want to intensify it, by all means add lashes. That would look beautiful as well. I'm next going to go in with lipstick. So this is like the final finishing touch of the colour. So I'm using the Dior Ultra Rouge lipstick in shade 777, which is Ultra Star. It's like a nice, it's quite a bright colour. It is a bold shade, but it's like a pinky red. Now, I don't go in really heavy with this. I do start very lightly because it's better to go light and add. But if you just go like that and do a real intense colour and it's too much, you've then got to take it off and it's a bit of a waste. So I start by just pressing it on the lip to start with. So I'm literally just dotting it on and rub it together. And then I just very gently do this just to enhance the shape and the definition. Obviously if you want to go in with lip liner as well, you can do. I am often a bit lazy with lip liner, I'm not gonna lie, so a lot of the time I don't bother, but if I am going out or anything like that, then I will, because it will make it last longer, and if you are quickly topping it up, it's easier to do it quickly without making a mistake. So now I've got this on the lips, I'm going to show you a really quick and easy tip. So I don't know if anyone had noticed, but I hadn't applied any blush when I was doing the face colour. I'm actually going to use this lipstick as the blush. So this is a really nice way to make sure that your lipstick and your blush match perfectly. If you are going to go in with a bolder colour like this, go slow and build it. Whereas if you've got quite a neutral shade, you can afford to add a bit more on quicker. So I'm just going to use my ring finger and I'm just going to rub it over my lips, just so you pick up a bit of that colour. And then I'm just going to start to blend it onto the cheeks. And because it is quite a bright shade, it is actually really flattering to create that nice flushed colour. It's quite nice, you know, when you look like, I wouldn't say when you've been for a run, because I literally look like a tomato when I've been for a run, but when you look like you've been out in the cold and you've got like little cute rosy cheeks or anything like that, it just looks really flattering. And this is also quite nice because whilst it's taking off gradually the colour to add to your cheeks, it's also blending it into your lips nicely at the same time. Can you see? It just gives a very subtle, but just, it looks so nice. Like, I actually love doing blush this way. One, it's a bonus because it's perfect colour with your lipstick, but two, it just looks so natural. And again, it's very skin finish because it's a cream product as opposed to powder. It blends into the skin really nicely, and like I said previously, we don't want to over powder the skin, so it just helps to prevent that. But you can see it still all blends well. It's blended perfectly into the bronze and the highlight products, so it just gives a beautiful natural flush. So if you want, you can keep that lip as it is, or you can go in with another layer of the lipstick. I am just going to dab a tiny bit extra just in the centre of the lip, just to intensify it slightly. I'm then just going to add a bit of a gloss. So this is the Dior Lip Maximizer, which looks like this. And the shade is 010, so it's a really pretty sort of peachy coral, but it's got a little bit of a sparkle, but not too much. And I'm just going to add a layer of this. But again, it just helps to intensify that pink slightly, and it gives us a nice full look from the gloss. So lastly, I'm going to come back to my good old friend Mario Badescu. The facial spray is really nice. It's not a setting spray, so if you are going out for a long period of time, you might want to look at a setting spray instead. But this is a really nice skincare product just to help to add a bit more hydration to the skin, and it adds a bit more of a glow as well. So if I'm going out anywhere hot in the day, I will take this with me and just have a bit of a spritz throughout the day. Like when you have a drink of water, it just keeps hydrated. And it just gives a bit of a boost. It's really nice and fresh as well, so you feel good in your skin. So that is my summer bronzed sun-kissed look done. I'll just give you another little preview so you can see it's got a beautiful glow, really nice and fresh hydrated. It looks super natural, so it literally just looks like our skin but better. And I love the bold lip. It's nice just to add a little bit of colour, and if you can't be daring in the summer, when can you? Thanks so much for watching. I hope you've all enjoyed this video. If you'd like to see more tutorials like this, if you've got any suggestions or makeup looks you'd like to see, please comment down below. If you do try this look or you've tried any of the products that I've used, then please comment and I'll have a look. It'll be nice to see if anyone's used any products that I've used as well, see if you've got on with them or not. I will link all products down below as well that I've used, and I will link my previous Dior haul in it as well. I've also, very exciting news this week, just launched my own blog, which I have been literally working on for months now. It's something that I've wanted to do for years. I'm so happy that it's finally out. So I am going to link that down below, and I will link it in all of my previous videos as well. It's hollytompkins.com. So either search it or click the link below. Give it a check out. I'm going to be doing weekly blog posts on all things fashion, makeup and lifestyle. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.